mathandstuff.com is a site that houses my math materials free to anyone who wishes to use them. Today, we will be looking at in Calc 1 notes and in Precalc notes, the material I consider inside cover material. I'm going to start with, and down at the bottom is where all my video links that are completed are going to be placed. So that will continue to evolve. Back to the home page. We're going to, let's go to Precalc first. Precalc. Functions is what I'd like to look at first. And in functions, you have instant reference material. Let's make it bigger. Here you go, instant reference material. This is the stuff one would find in the inside front and back covers of a book that's already been stated. So I'd like to just look at some of these things that would be found in the inside covers of a Precalc book. This is an array of the graphs of functions found in Precalc and in Calc 1. These are parent functions. Other functions are created using these. The most important are the identity, opposite, and reciprocal. Squaring probably comes after that. Doubling and twice, exponential growth here, natural log growth here. But this is a gallery of what's available. In addition to the graphs of the function is a PDF file of functions that would have been listed, but in a textbook, there's no room to put all of this, but there is on the web. So here are the functions for which information is contained in this PDF file, downloadable to anyone who wants it. Again, back to the identity, the opposite, the reciprocal. Here's a constant function. Let's just look at what's under the identity. Symbol is X, symbol for a number. Domain, all the reals, range, all the reals. X-intercept, Y-intercept, reciprocal is itself, inverse is itself, no asymptotes, it is continuous, the derivative is 1, and the antiderivative is x squared over 2 plus c. So we have both Calc and Precalc available here, because if I was doing it for one, I might as well do it for both. Let's look at the parabola. Domain, all reals, range is y is greater than or equal to 0. Continuous, derivative, antiderivative, and so on. Okay, now those are just the inside cover information, more extensive than you'd find normally. But in addition to that is older, more expansive material. I just hit the function library And it goes through the same things, identity, opposite, reciprocal, but it takes a lot more time to go through it. It's more a teaching guide for an individual than as an instant reference you would find in the back of the book. Here's the identity, here's the opposite. Let's do the reciprocal. That's a little more interesting. Experiment with it yourself. Put in a number, 4. What's the reciprocal of this? Take the 4 and flip it, you get a quarter. Let's put in a half. Take a half and flip it, you get 2. And I think we can go back here. Okay, so functions, lines, quadratics, all sorts of stuff on quadratics. The point of this video is not to go into all that, but just to go through what I consider to be inside back cover symbols and words and information. Quick reference. One more piece of the pre-calc is math symbols. I have found that my students don't know how to speak what they see printed. X is a variable. It is also the identity function. Other variables are other letters, usually in the back of the alphabet, and usually the letters in the front of the alphabet are for constants, not always. Order of operation, inclusion marks, the symbol for a point, the symbol for a specific point. Again, all this is ready reference, just so it's there. More information is here. That's all I want to do with the pre-calc. No, true, not false, not true. I also want to remind you that there is other information that you want to have at your fingertips, like the laws of logs and exponents and how to deal with them. Trig cheat sheets. This is a PDF file. It's not as old as I am. This part, Veronica's bow tie, is. It again gives you the values of trig functions for the 30s, the 45s, the 60s. In all quadrants, trig identities. That's enough on pre-calc. I'm going to the calc page now. In the calc page, in addition to links for calculators on the web that I think work nicely, don't cost any money, and that I want my students to have, they're sitting there. But then there's other instant stuff, graphs of all pre-calc and calc 1 functions. You just looked at that. Summary of all functions. You just looked at that. Library of function. You just saw it. Symbols. You just saw it. Below that, you will find other inside the back and front cover calculus material. These are calculator notes. You don't need those now. Laws of exponents you looked at. Cheat sheets of trig identities. What I'm looking for is I want to see where I would have my derivatives. So after you take limits, after you go through the pre-calc, after you take limits, you start taking derivatives, whole pages on derivatives. Here we go. Derivatives and antiderivative calc cheat sheets. Here it is in PDF format. These are my handwritten notes from before 1971 when I graduated college. Those are my notes. Yeah, they are a little worse for the wear, but I wasn't going to write all this out twice. Got the idea? The idea is the internet is great, but if you're taking a course, you want instant information. And that's where the inside, front, and back cover material should be found. This was the Calc 1 notes. I'm closing that. Back to the home page. You just looked at Calc 1 notes. You looked at pre-calc notes. You didn't even look at the algebra notes. I do not have algebra cheat sheets. The closest I come is in the pre-calc. Again, the video, when completed, will be posted on the mathandstuff.com on video.